ऑडियंस शूट करके पूरी दुनिया को दिखाए तो प्राकृतिक फूलों से बना फ्रेग्रेंट टैल्क फ्रॉम यार्डले लंदन, जिससे आपकी त्वचा दिखे ब्यूटीफुल नेचुरली। यार्डले टैल्कम पाउडर, स्टे ब्यूटीफुल एंड फ्रेश नेचुरली।
Thank you so much for the video. Now, before proceeding with the event, there are a few important instructions before going ahead. Attendees are requested to join through either PC or laptop for a better visual experience. Attendees need to keep themselves on mute at all times. Questions may be posted over the chat box, and all of your queries will be answered at the end. Thank you so much for your cooperation. We hope that you have a great time with us. Whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it now. Boldness has genius, magic, and power in it. By Johan Wolfgang. A very good afternoon to one and all present here. I, Aditi Khattar, a student of second year from the Department of Management Studies, extend my heartfelt welcome to each one of you to the annual Technical Fest IIDAIRA 2022, organized by the Department of Management Studies and the Department of Financial Studies, Shahid Rajguru College of Applied Sciences for Women, University of Delhi. Before starting off with the event, let us invoke the blessings of the Almighty. We now have the pious lamp lighting ceremony. May the glories of the Almighty light our way by pushing away all the darkness prevailing in our lives.
हे शारदे माँ, हे शारदे माँ, हे शारदे माँ, हे शारदे माँ, अज्ञानता से हमें तार दे माँ, हे शारदे माँ, हे शारदे माँ, तू स्वर की देवी है, संगीत तुझसे, हर शब्द तेरा है, हर गीत तुझसे, तू स्वर की देवी है, संगीत तुझसे, हर शब्द तेरा है, हर गीत तुझसे। हम हैं अकेले, हम हैं अधूरे, हम हैं अकेले, हम हैं अधूरे, तेरी शरण में हमें प्यार दे माँ, हे शारदे माँ, हे शारदे माँ, हे शारदे माँ, हे शारदे माँ।
That was indeed a wonderful and pious beginning to a wholesome event waiting ahead of us. The Department of Management Studies and the Department of Financial Studies set its strong pillars in the college in the year 2017. Since its very inception, the department has been actively conducting a plethora of activities for skill development and mutual bonding of the students. The annual technical fest of our department, IDAIRA, has always been the highlight of the year. From technical sessions conducted for knowledge gaining of the students to thrilling competitions with huge participation, IDAIRA has got it all covered. Like every year, we received an overwhelming response for IDAIRA 2022 as well. Under IDAIRA 2022, we conducted 4 thrilling competitions, namely Case Niti, Bidding Baddies, Adept Allocator, and Escape Prism. We received over 1,200 registrations for the events with superb participation from extremely enthusiastic students across prominent colleges of the country. A mentor empowers a student to see a possible future and believe that it can be obtained. For our college and department, we are beyond grateful to have Principal Dr. Payal Mago as our mentor and guiding light. Ma'am is the Director of Campus of Open Learning, University of Delhi. Along with that, Ma'am is the ex-Joint Dean, Academic Affairs and Projects, University of Delhi. Principal Ma'am is the Standing Committee Member, Ministry of Human Resource Development. In addition to that, Ma'am is the advisory committee member, Women's Studies at Stella Maris College. Ma'am is the academic council member and interim task force committee, University of Delhi. Principal Ma'am has always been immensely supportive and motivating to all the students, and we are indeed beyond grateful to have a mentor like Ma'am. We welcome Ma'am.
Today, we will be getting to know a lot about the topic, challenges, opportunities, and role of AI in digital advertising. We will also get to know the AI techniques used to track competitors, data security and privacy, algorithm bias, and artificial intelligence in marketing. This is a really important topic to know about in today's time.
Now, I would like to take the opportunity to introduce our esteemed keynote speaker for today. I am extremely honored to introduce Mr. Manu Malhotra. Sir is the manager at Advertising Cloud at Adobe, North America. Sir is a gold medalist from AMU and a certified Adobe Analytics business practitioner. Sir is a mentor to students from across top MBA institutes in India. As a speaker, Sir presented a talk at global digital conferences such as Digital Marketing Summit Las Vegas. We are humbled beyond measure to have such knowledgeable speaker gracing the occasion today. I invite Sir to address the gathering now.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Aditi, Manaswini, and Shruti. Thank you so much for the warm welcome and introduction. Also, my warm greetings to Dr. Payal Mago, if she's around. Thank you so much for having me here, and what a lovely prayer by Sunishta, if I'm pronouncing right, and Samriddhi. Thank you so much. It feels like home when you start with such a prayer. Thank you. Okay. Before I begin and share my usual deck, I will make sure that you take a moment to step in wherever you have questions. I'll also be inviting you to have what comes to your mind when I ask a question. It's not a right or wrong, but it would help me understand your state of mind, and I'll tailor the content accordingly, right? So how many of you, just maybe a simple raise of hands, how many of you are passionate about marketing, sales, and maybe how do we communicate with customers? How do we create impact around a product or solution? How do we engage customers around it? How do we create a demand around it? Any sort of these areas. Oh wow, fantastic. So I see a lot of people raising their hands, and honestly, I think any business cannot survive without a strong communication channel between what you're offering and how your customers connect with it, right? So uh, let me bring up my slides, and let me know once you can see them. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fantastic. Cool. Today we're going to talk about a role of AI in not just advertising but whole digital marketing, and what are the challenges and opportunities. And I'll also bring up some of the use cases. Um, I'll try to de-jargonize some of the things. Sometimes, when we are studying, we put a lot of acronyms, and we may sound a little more intellectual when we use a lot of jargons. But honestly, let me tell you, the basics rock everywhere. If you have the basics right, even if it is marketing offline or online, the basics remain the same, right? It's just that some of the things have been positioned to in a very jargonized manner. So let me first ask you, anyone, what do you mean by digital marketing, and what comes to your mind when you hear digital marketing? I'm sure you know It's everywhere. It's growing at a faster speed. We are connecting with the customer digitally. But what does digital marketing mean to you? Anyone, unmute yourself and whatever comes to your mind. And I am not expecting a Philip Kotler definition at all. So don't worry about that. What comes to your mind when somebody asks you what is digital marketing for you?
So maybe using the digital space to advertise the product or to conduct the necessary research required for the product.
Sure. Are you able to hear me? Fine.
Yes, sir.
No.
Okay. Sorry. Who was it? Who answered it?
So there are several answers in chat box as well.
I'm losing the voice. Is there an internet problem at my end, or are you able to hear me still?
Sir, we are able to hear you.
You're able to hear me fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fantastic. So I was not able to hear fully the answer that came through, but as I read through marketing through digital platforms like Instagram, YouTube, a component of marketing that uses digital technologies for promotions, marketing using internet. I think all of these are subsets of the definition. If you look at, the fundamental definition of marketing remains the same even if it is digital. How do you understand the needs of your customers through digital channels? Understand their needs, create a product or a service around it. How do you take that product or service to the customers, right? And position it in a way which stands out from the competition. And there is a desirability around it, right? There's a unique selling proposition around it for which customers need it. And once they use it, how do you take feedback on digital channels to continuously improve it and take that feedback back to the product or services team that is curating it, so that you are always evolving the product or the service that you have, right? What you can do better. This entire space that we are talking about is digital marketing, right? From evaluating the needs to creating that, iterating the product service, launching that, creating a communication channel to reach to the customers, and taking the feedback, plugging the feedback continuously back to the product services team. Now, if you look at in the whole definition, I did not use even a single jargon, a single, and still it completes the definition of digital marketing, right? And this is the basic. Now, if you look at this, why do we talk about, and that's why I would encourage all of you as you build your careers going forward, don't get into the jargon of content marketing, email, and social media, and SEO. All of these form part of this entire space that I talked about, right? And they have a role to play. But when we say all of this, where does AI come in? I mean, we have not talked about artificial intelligence all this while, but why now? The why, the answer to the why is, my dear students, is look at when we're talking about digital. So everything is data, and you are able to collect that data, right? So where is your college exactly located? Is it in Delhi?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir. It's in Delhi.
Which place in Delhi exactly?
Sir, it's in Vasundhara Enclave, Mayur Vihar.
Okay, let's say
Like near
it is
East
in
Delhi only.
Mayur Vihar, and sorry, didn't get you.
Sir, I was just mentioning that it is in East Delhi.
Sure, that's okay.
Okay,
Wherever
sir.
it is, just imagine that there's a, let's say, billboard around that area, wherever your colleges, and just assume if you put any communication around it. Let's say Shruti, I see you on my screen. Let's say near your college, wherever there is a big crossroad and maybe thousands or lakhs of people pass every day from there. Let's say, Shruti, you put a billboard there, right? And on the billboard, you put an advertisement saying that, hey, you have opened a fantastic cafe, which is just 5 minutes away from that place. And you want to look, that billboard is to increase the in-store sales of your that cafe. Okay. Now, how effective this billboard is for you to measure, Shruti, it will take at least few weeks to see, after putting the billboard, how many incremental customers are stepping in your cafe. It may be after a month that you will be able to analyze how many incremental customers came into my cafe and what is the incremental sales after putting this billboard versus before this billboard. Correct? Now look at digital marketing today. The difference is, when, let's say, you run a digital ad today, let's say on YouTube or ESPN Cricinfo or a Times of India, anywhere you run a digital ad, or even when people are searching for cafes nearby and your ad shows on Google. The point is, you see somebody, you can collect that data then and there. So you don't have to wait for a month to understand how your marketing efforts are panning out. Correct? So one is, digital gives you instant sort of ability to understand what's working for you, what's not working for you. And just imagine you have so many data points that you're collecting all across. How many people you reached, how many people saw your ad, how many people clicked on your ad, how many people after clicking on your ad booked a seat in your cafe, how many people after booking a seat, what was their average order value. All of these are data points today. And I'm just talking about the wonderful cafe that Shruti has found. Now, there are tons of cafes, there are tons of retail stores, there's tons of activity happening all around. And all of these companies and brands want to reach their prospect customers. That means there's tons and tons of data all around. Now, how do you make sense of that data? Is one fine day, Shruti sits with that data and analyzes that data. Every, let's say, Monday, she sits down with that data and run analytics and finds out certain insights. But instead of it, let's say I also see you, Manaswini, up on my screen. You use artificial intelligence to get some insights at a frequent interval basis that data. Now, that is where the role of artificial intelligence comes in. So what happens is, Manaswini is able to become a better marketeer with the help of artificial intelligence. Right? Now, this is where the whole need for AI kicks in. How can AI help Manaswini or Shruti or Snigdha take better marketing decisions to run better effective marketing campaigns? And when I say marketing, Snigdha, I do mean that it's not only advertising, it's holistic marketing. Advertising is a subset of marketing, right? Now, like I said, if let's say today, Manaswini, Shruti or Snigdha, you have your set of customers. Let's say, Akansha, I see you on my screen. Akansha is your prospective customers for all three of you. Akansha is not just on one platform. She's binge watching at the same time. She's on WhatsApp, and she's also looking at reels, and she's liking some stuff on Facebook. At the same time, she's on other apps. She's maybe also ordering something on Big Basket, along with looking at what's in her cart and on Amazon, right? So she's all across. So it's not that when we are talking about Manaswini or how can she target Akanksha, she's all over the place. For every brand, customers are spread all across. So it's not a simple sort of saying that I only tap my customers here. No. Again, now look at complexity of data. There are so many touch points. And with that, what happens is, if Akanksha is your prospective customer, or let's say Vrinda is your prospective customer, then what is happening is they have a very less attention span and patience for that ad that they ran for their cafe, right? Because you're spread all across. It's not that one thing that you are doing at a point in time. And secondly, I said, gone are those days when we saw a simple funnel, right? Saying awareness, interest, desire, and action. Now tell me, how many of you have done that way? You are marketeers also, you are business leaders also, become aspirational business leaders, and you are customers also. When somebody shows you something, do you say, okay, now fine, I know about it, now I have created interest about it, now I have a desirability around it, and now I will buy it? Is that how simple it is? No. Today the cycle is so different. Today you see something, you get curious about it, but the next day you forget about it, or somebody tells you that maybe, look at their customer reviews, maybe look at the other products that are way better in their value proposition, they may be cheaper as well. So you get confused. So the whole customer journey is not as simple as it used to be, right? Now let me also show you something very, very different. Now, I assume all of you are budding business leaders, management aspirants. When I say that, just assume. So, for example, I see you, Sunishta, on my screen. If Sunishta, you are head of marketing for a brand, right? Let's assume sugar is popular these days with Shark Tank. Let's say you are head of marketing of sugar, right? Now, sugar, if you just look at the organization, how sugar would be structured is, let's assume sugar would have an analytics team, which constantly looks at how their products are bought and viewed and added to the cart on e-commerce stores, on their own website. So this is an analytics team studying all of this, correct, Sunishta? Now you are head of marketing, and you see the analytics team is looking at how customers are coming onto these portals and buying these products, which products are more getting sold, which products are not getting sold as much, etc. There's another team, Sunishta. Sorry.
No,
Okay.
sir, we didn't say anything.
Okay, so there's another team, Sunisha, let's assume, which, let's say Vrinda is leading, which is social media marketing team, which is doing all the stuff on Facebook and Twitter and Insta and TikTok and whatever, right? Vrinda is doing social media stuff, right? Now, let's say there's another team which is doing Ishika, for example, I see you. Ishika is leading a email marketing team, right, for sugar, right? People who added to the cart but did not convert. So Ishika is picking up those people and sending emails, right? And let's say Akanksha is leading another team which is around inside sales. People who bought, Akanksha calls them people who bought, let's say, very high average order value. Let's say somebody who bought 7,000-8,000 worth of products, who is constantly buying every 6 months 7,000-8,000 worth of products. Akanksha's team calls them, understand what's the feedback, what do they want more, and sort of things, etc., etc. Now just assume these are different teams. And then there is CRM team which works on customer relationship management data. There's so many teams at work in an organization. And how many of you believe, even in your dreams, do you think they will all be connected and talking to each other, understanding and having one point of view of the customer? All of them. So let's say if I was this visible to you, which is my 10% of the face, that is visible to analytics team. That's how they see the customer. My rest 10% of the face is visible to the other team, which is social media team. My rest 10% of the face is visible to, let's say, the email marketing team. Nobody in the entire organization understands the holistic view of the customer. They are seeing that partial view of the customer which is accessible to them basis the data they have access to. Because analytics team is only looking at people who came to their website. And what did they do? If I was one of the customers and if I came onto the website and I bought something, it doesn't mean that I never saw a social media ad or an email marketing ad. I saw them as well. So what is happening is these organization silos. And that's exactly what I want to share with you. If you look at this, take 5 seconds to 10 seconds to just understand what this slide says. Top execs across the world. See, this is becoming the biggest challenge in running AI on top of data, right? So it's not as simple. What happens is there is unstructured data lying all across. Analytics team has their structure of the data, and I'm sure you understand the basics of the data. Unless the data has same structure, you cannot combine and take out a meaningful analysis out of it. Correct? If it has different structures, if it is completely different the way it is saved, you are not able to integrate that data. Right? So hence the artificial intelligence that you run on top of it gets challenged. Now, I'm sure you know there are so many use cases all across of if you get it right, if you actually implement artificial intelligence, the kind of things that you can drive is amazing. Just look at this. If you're able to understand the customer and where they are coming from, you can show them better prospects or better. So let's say this is called personalization at scale, right? So if Shruti has certain liking, let's say Shruti, you are into running, right? You're always looking at, what you can get, what running gear you can buy. Let's assume that's always there in your mind. You have people who are fitness enthusiasts or running enthusiasts and etc. If I find you and if I can personalize and tailor my communication to you, and I put a sneaker or let's say a running shoe which is best for trekking, a new shoe that Nike has come out with, that will be more personalized, and the chances of you converting as a customer and buying etc is far more, right? So in retail you have so many use cases of deploying artificial intelligence. Similarly, if I know the preferences of a customer, and by the way, I hope you know that our preferences online are widely known to a lot of companies. Based on our browsing history, based on what things we are liking, what things we are not liking, what we are viewing as a content. There are at least, so Snigdha, there would be at least 1,000 traits for your online profile. So you exist in a physical world as Snigdha Ghosh. There's Snigdha Ghosh in a virtual world right now, and there would be at least 1,000 traits by which you are known, apart from your mobile number and email ID and your personalized PII information. For example, let's say Snigdha, you are always reading about sports. You're always reading about, let's say, women in business. Let's say you're always reading about certain things. So if you, let's say you're always reading about adventure travel, assuming, all of it that you're doing across platform, it's widely known somewhere as a hashed profile, somebody who's known as Snigdha, and her preferences are widely known in the online world. And that's the same for each one of us, right? Not just for you. Now, companies, of course, there's this trickier side of things, but in all right intent, companies can use it to tailor their communication to the customers in a better way, right? Simple. Today, restaurants are deploying it all across, right? How they can serve a better visual, a better offering, which ties to somebody's interest. if I am known as a tea lover rather than a coffee lover, and if I am shown a coffee ad, it won't work with me, correct? So rather a Chayos ad would be really relevant to me, right? Similarly, if let's say, Sunisha, you are a coffee lover and you are there in a mall and you see on a digital screen that says, by the way, just take a left and enjoy your best coffee to lift your mood up, you would try that. And what if it also tells you, by the way, we have a special offer for you because the last time you came in, you ordered something like this, etc., etc. Bingo, right? So there's so much happening all around you already. And I'm not sure if you're thinking like a marketer or you still think like a consumer, but given this opportunity that you've invited me today, let me ask you one simple thing. After my session today, all of you, just do one simple thing from today for the rest of your course. Start thinking like a marketeer and not like a consumer. I know, girls and women like shopping, etc., etc., but that's your consumer side of intent in the head. I want you to think like a marketeer. Whenever you get a fantastic message saying 50% off and you run to that store to buy your favorite thing, etc., etc., before that, stop it. Just tell in your head, I was sent this message 50% off on this date. Now think like a marketeer. Who's sending me this? Why is that person sending me this? And I'm sure you know some of the codes that are sent to you only work for you and not for your friends. Now just think, okay, so there's a marketeer and who is in their segment is targeting me and sending me a special voucher to get this exclusive discount. And why would that be? Okay, so it may be because it's been some time that I went to buy from the store or this online site, or because I just bought last week, they are cross selling me something which I've never bought from them because I trust them for one category and now they are asking me to try other category. Or I'm completely a new customer acquisition for them because I have always been buying competitors' products. So they would have kind of figured out that, this is a new customer we should acquire. Now, these are the kind of inquiries I want you to think before you go on a shopping spree with the new sort of messages that you keep getting either in your emails or in your pop-up notifications on apps, right? So that will enrich your experience as a marketeer, right? And will help you relate to what's happening around you from a marketing perspective, right? So Shrishti, most of the emails that you keep getting and you think that somebody is curating those emails for you, no. Nobody is curating those emails for all of us. These are all automation. These are all AI driven. So if I am targeting you, Shrishti, through emails, I know what is the optimal time to send emails to Shrishti. After I have sent you 5-7 emails, I know I would have tried one at 10 a.m., another at 12 p.m., third at 2 p.m., 4 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m. Now I know this is the historic emails, the likelihood of getting my email open with Shrishti is best at 9 p.m. Maybe because she is free after her college day, etc., etc., and then she's got some time to check her personal emails, something like that. All of that is AI driven. So when you create an email, the today email automation softwares basis the list that you're targeting and sending the email to, it can tell you as a marketeer that don't send it right now. This is the best time to send them. Okay. And also, when you see an email, there are certain call to actions, right? Explore this, buy this, check this out, check this blog post, DIY, da 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 da. All of these, again, there are marketing automation softwares that can render through your email content and tell you, boss, you need to update your call to action. It can be much better. And if you change it to this, Rishba or Shrishti are more likely to click on these and convert. And even if I don't tell you, I know you already know that subject lines of the email, sometimes they just win you over. You just open the email for the sake of acknowledging somebody's creativity with that subject and say, oh wow, I know it's going to be shitty stuff inside, but what a fantastic subject line to lure me to open that. And you end up opening that. Now, again, let me tell you, it is not somebody's creativity, but AI today tells you, renders your email and tells you these are the 10 subject lines you can try. Now, let's say, Manasvi, you have a question. If AI tells me 10, which one should I try? Now, today, marketing softwares are also available for email, which can tell you that if you are sending an email, let's say, of this sugar cosmetic product line that is newly launched to, let's say, 1 lakh customers, and your automation softwares tell you these are the 10 suggested subject lines, correct? Now, what it will do is it will not send to 1 lakh people. It will send to just 10,000, all those 10 subject lines. First one, which one is working the best? Basis whichever is working the best, it will send it to rest 90,000. So it's a ABCDEF test that you run, right? So this is the power of digital marketing. Like I said in the start, when you put on a billboard, your ad, you don't know if it is working or not. And you'll get to know how to correct it after a point in time and change things on the go. I'll take a pause and check how are we doing? Does it make sense? Are you finding this interesting?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Let me check on the time. How are we doing on time? We still have 10-15 minutes, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Cool. Like I said, I mean, you already know how a service industry is changing with the onslaught of chatbots. So, Zomato, once you process your refunds, or a Uber, once you share your support and help you need, their systems are getting intelligent and knowing you better. So, just as an example, please don't mind it. Let's say, Rishba, you have traveled with Uber, let's say 10 times in last 1 month. I'm just taking a hypothetical example, right? In the last 10 times that you've traveled with Uber, sometimes you got a peak fare, etc., but you never complained about it, right? I'm just taking a hypothetical example. So what it tells to the system is that Rishabha is not a price sensitive customer, right? She can pay more, right? She's okay with if she has to spend 300 for a 200 rupee ride as well. Whereas, let's say, just please don't mind it, just for the sake of the discussion, let's say, Manaswini, when you traveled, out of 10 times, you were charged little more than anticipated, let's say 3 times. And you immediately reported that on support, looked at how you could be compensated better, etc., etc. Now the system becomes more intelligent in understanding that this particular customer is more price sensitive, right? All of that is going in as a intelligence to tomorrow better target customers for. So if you have a price sensitive proposition, you will send it to one customer. If you have a more value proposition rather than a price centric proposition, you will send it to another. So all of this goes in and makes your data richer. Are you with me on that?
Yes, sir.
Are we still connected?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Cool. And like I said, guys, unfortunately or fortunately, I'm sure you would agree. Earlier, we used to be on one screen. There was one format of either the desktop or the mobile. But today, if you look at, we have multiple screens, iPads of multiple screens, phones of multiple screen sizes, TV of multiple screen sizes. So today your customer is across multiple screens, right? And that is a challenge for you as a marketer. Where do you target? So Sunishta, if I have already targeted you on a connected TV streaming platform and I'm still sending you messages, how can I better understand that I've already shown you an ad? But it's difficult to understand today. If I've already served you an ad and or a marketing communication over, let's say, a Woot, already shown you something as an ad, how do I understand that Sunishta has already been reached, the ad impression has already been delivered to her, and I stop targeting you on mobile? Or I target you on mobile with a different message, which helps me convert you as a customer faster, right? So those are some of the challenges. But let me also tell you that today AI is even used to create digital banners. So Brinda, if the chances are when you're seeing an ad, the chances are it is digitally made through a artificial intelligence system. It's not curated or designed by so-called a creative designer. The chances are it might be a completely AI driven display. Let me give you a very simple example. Again, my favorite example. Let's say Snigdha, you are into running, right? And because you are into running, you are always looking for a running shoe, best in class running shoe. And let's say Sunishta, you are into not running, but you are into training. Let's say Zumba or Pilates or some sort of exercise which is not running, but you need a different shoe because you need a training shoe. Now, when Snigdha goes on to Times of India or BBC, I can show her an ad of the shoe with a background of running, trekking, or whatever it is, and Snigdha will be more connected to that ad. And Sunishta, when you come on to Times of India, when we show you ad on the same Times of India, you are shown an ad of the shoe with exercise, Pilates, Zumba, some sort of that exercise, right? Now, chances of you converting Sunishta will be much better in this case rather than I showing you an ad which I was showing to Snigdha also. Does that make sense, guys? So we are actually, what we are doing is we are contextually personalizing at scale. And by the way, I'm sure you know that there is not just Snigdha and Sunishta going on to Times of India every day. There are millions of people going. And for each one of them, if I can contextually make the ad contextually relevant, personalized at scale for each one of them, basis their cookie history and what likings they have. And it's doable today. Okay, it's being done. So the ad that you see, the version that you see may not be the same that others are seeing, right? It's unique to you. So that's pretty much, like I said, I also have some things which I wanted to leave with all of you. What is it? This is all that is there, but what should you be doing? I think for me, I think learning is the new oxygen. This whole digital world is changing and challenging all of us. I myself consider myself as a student, so I think you should keep learning on what's happening in the digital world, how what are the new use cases, how technology is cutting into marketing today, right? So I think that should never go away. I think that is one that I would leave with you. The second is, I have myself have made this mistake. I've always been very passionate about marketing, and I thought to every problem or solution there's always a marketing answer. No, you're not doing the communication right. No, the message is not right. No, you're not targeting right. No, it's not always that, right? You have to be a whole systems thinking sort of a person. Like I said, understand what is the business strategy, what is the marketing strategy, what is the value proposition, what is the sales cycle. Understand things holistically before you jump onto answering something with a marketing solution, right? For example, let's say in a recruitment drive, Brinda, tomorrow the company asks you, okay, this is something that we offer, create a marketing plan out of it. Unless, Brinda, you know what is your unique selling proposition, how big is the market, who are the customer, what are your major segments that you target, why do they buy your product, why do they don't buy your product, what is the sales cycle, how is your product reaching your customers? Unless you know all of this, I don't think you'll be able to find out a right marketing answer, right? So I think it's all about whole systems thinking. So be a collaborator. And like I said, in organizations, there are too many people thinking only analytics, too many people thinking only social media, too many people thinking only email, too many people thinking only one side of the story. Nobody is connecting the dots. And it's a big practical problem across organizations right now, because none of the organization grew one day and was born one day to say that, you know, we'll be digital first. New organizations are still digital first, but old organizations, and there are many enterprises, plus I think I will leave it with you, but study a lot on martech, marketing technology and ad tech, advertising technology. There's a lot of innovation that's happening there. So keep reading around those stuff. You can read about this on cmo.com, emarketeer.com, a lot of interesting places. Marketing strategy for any solution. So that's pretty much. I hope you enjoyed this session, everyone. I'm open to addressing any questions if you may have. So thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. We would now open the forum for questions. Students can pose their queries in chat box to get them clarified.
Happy to answer any questions if you have. If you also later want to connect any one-on-one questions you may have, feel free to drop me a word on LinkedIn. That's probably the place where I am most active at. And you know, if there's a query that I can answer in a chat way there, I'll be happy to answer it then and there. But if there's something requires a small chat also to speak to you on any project, on any sort of advice on a career perspective, or any potential problem that you're trying to solve, I'm happy to connect.
Okay, sir, like I want to ask a question. So, sir, with use of data of such massive customer base, and there are challenges to managing data privacy. There have been various cases in past wherein the data breach took place, such as Domino's, Air India, and many more cases like that. So, sir, how marketers make sure that they are ethical in their practice?
Sure. So I think my short answer to this, Shruti, would be that there are guidelines that are coming across. This is an evolving phase, Shruti. Much like a metaverse that we are now talking about, do you think we already have rules of the game for metaverse? No, we don't. The digital has been a similar sort of story. Everything happened first, and then we are trying to figure out what are the rules. If you imagine 13, 14 years back in India, when e-commerce was still burgeoning, it was picking up. There were tax issues, and nobody knew what was the right sort of taxation rules. If you're procuring from one state, sending to another, how does all of these things work out? What I'm trying to tell you is, sometimes the game is founded much and played much before the rules of the games are laid down. And this is one such area with digital cutting across so fast. Governments and authorities are coming forward to lay down the rules of the game. For example, you see GDPR coming in, then you have California Act coming in. There are some acts coming in, privacy guidelines coming in, which one has to follow and will be followed. But like I said, game is much ahead of the rules. Rules are laid down much after the top players in the industry would have played the game. So that's the story. Regulations and rules are catching up with the game. So it's not that, you laid down the rules and then cricket was played. It's not in this case, that's what's happening. And hence, it's always, how do you abide with those guidelines, right? It's not that anyone wants to be unethical, but it's that guidelines are not there for everything, right? And they keep coming. And once they are kind of there, of course, marketeers have to abide by those guidelines. And it's very important. But let me tell you that there are certain gray areas where we do not have guidelines and they become a potential challenge at times.
Thank you, sir. That answers. So there are several more questions in chat box. So can I take that up for you?
Yeah, go ahead.
So you mentioned that there are so many teams who only see a portion of the customer's preferences, and only when we combine their results and see, we can understand the customer better. So can we say that use of AI has somewhat increased dependency instead of decreasing it?
So yeah, so Nishta, you're right. That's what I said, that it has a big dependency. I don't know if you know that Microsoft launched their Twitter AI handle by the name. I'll have to figure out what was the name. Um, and let me tell you right away. So you know what happened? It became biased and racist within a few hours of getting launched. It was an AI Twitter handle, artificially intelligent, because people were kind of bitching, and the replies that people were trying to test with it was uh, a lot of abuses, etc. So the data that the AI was learning was completely biased in negative way, and within few hours it became complete racist. Now what I'm trying to tell you is that AI, artificial intelligence, depends on the data that is fed. So it's always very important that what kind of learning that somebody is going through. You and me are whatever we are because of learning of several years behind us. Whatever we learned with our parents, with our grandparents, with our teachers in school, with our friends, the environment that we have been exposed to, it has all resulted in a learning that we are today. Correct? And similarly, and that's also how, Vinda, you will be different from a Shruti to a Manu to a Snigdha to a Rishva, right? All of us are very different because we have been fed with different data, right? Similarly, AI also is dependent on what kind of data is being fed into it. Now, when it is being only showed partial set of data, it will have partial learning and it will predict, and the results will be partially correct. That is why I said that, this is a big dependency. The more integrated and structured data there is, the more intelligent outcomes will come out of.
So in a way, there will always be need for human intervention. So AI can't be used individually. Thank you, sir, for answering the question.
Absolutely.
So the Twitter chatbot that you were mentioning, I saw its name is Tay. So the next question up is, with technology becoming so seeped in every career, how should we as students begin building up on our technical know-how?
Sorry, come again, Shruti?
Yes. With technology becoming so seeped in every career, how should we as students begin building up on our technical know-how?
I think one thing that you have to understand is technology is for our betterment. You have to accept that you'll be a better marketer, a better business leader with the help of technology. So it is there to help you. It is not there to inundate you, overwhelm you. It is there to become. So just like you have so many weapons as you go into a warfare, right? You put in every kind of instrument or a weapon that can help you potentially, right? So technology provides you all the armory so that you become better. Uh, so one thing that you have to accept is that you have to stay a curious learner. Like I said, learning is the new oxygen. Keep learning about what is there in the martech, what is there in the adtech space for you to become a better marketeer. There's no short answer to it that just learn this, do this, and you'll be fine for next 10 years. No, do this, learn this, you'll be fine for next 6 months. After 6 months, there's something new coming in. So you'll have to stay curious. You'll have to stay on the learning curve. Everyone is. There's so much technology that is seeping into how we do things, how we take decisions, right? So it's very important that you consider it as your friend, consider it as your buddy technology, and then you keep learning about it. And like I said, martech, read about it. Adtech, read about it. There's so much happening around there. And there are few very simple certifications and simple free online sources that you can keep reading about, and they help you get better at it. So keep looking forward to those aspects and stay a curious learner.
Thank you, sir. So the next question is, today we can position brands on every platform, be it Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, or Facebook. How should we decide which one? So, Radhika Malhotra.
Sir, I have asked.
Radhika, good question. So let me tell you, each platform, and by the way, when I take the whole course in these schools, I do talk about social media, how each channel is very different. Now, I assume you've taken up my request sincerely, which was to think like a marketer and not like a customer. And I'm assuming all of you, with almost 170 of us are together, I'm assuming that all of us are right now thinking like marketeer here. Just think like a marketeer. And all of us are marketeer, and we have potential customers on these platforms. Now just assume, what is your customer doing on Facebook? And what is your customer doing on Insta? And what is your customer doing on YouTube? And what is your customer doing on Google search? Your customer is going on Google search when your customer has a sharp intent. Snigdha goes onto Google to find out something. Let's say if she typically wants to find out which is the best, let's say outfit to buy, or let's say a best shoe to buy, or best lens to buy, she'll have an intent towards it, right? So when you as a customer want to tap onto somebody who has an intent, you go to Google search ads. I'm giving you very non-jargonized answers, and these are very basic marketing concepts. So you tap onto that customer which has an intent, right? Now, when a customer does not have an intent, and let's say Vinda one fine day wanted to create a startup and let's come out with an innovative product that's never known in the industry. Nobody knows about it. Now, will anyone be searching about it? No, there will be no intent. Was there a search for a taxi like Uber or something like that 10 years back, 12 years back? No, nobody knew about Uber as a service, right? So nobody is searching about it. So let's say Vinda comes out with a new product which is altogether new and as never known. That means for sure there will be no intent about it. Now let's say, Shruti, if you are head of marketing of that firm that Vinda has founded, you will never go onto Google search ads, will you? Now you have to create awareness about it. There's no awareness. So where will you go? Now you look at mere customers kya hai. If you see your customers are the one which are in the age group of, let's say, 14 to let's say 35, which are primarily found on Insta, you will go on to Insta. Plus you'll go on to some other platform that has that segment of the customer, right? So I'm just helping you understand that it's not rocket science. You have to understand what is your product or service, and what is your audience, and how do you want to engage with your audience. If your audience is completely B2B, right? So Nisha, you founded a HR tech software which simplifies hiring of people and onboarding of people and then employee lifecycle management. Why would you go on Insta? Why would you go somewhere? Then you will go to LinkedIn and target all the CHROs and people who are into recruitment, people who are into all of these sort of things, right? So understanding your audience and what do you want to do with the audience defines where will you target them. And before me telling you, that the audience on Insta is very different from Facebook, is very different from TikTok, is very different from LinkedIn, is very different from somebody who's searching on Google search, etc., etc. Plus, the audience is different on Times of India as well. So if you want to target people who are, let's say, another example. I don't know, I just love shoes. I'm into fitness, so shoes would have been 15% of my content today. But again, if you want to target shoes and you've come out with a new range of shoes, Sunishta, you will target the sports section on a Times of India. When people are reading about sports and etc., you will show your ad only there. If you've come out with something new to create awareness, and once there is awareness, people will start searching for that new brand. That's it. XYZ, new brand, people, and once they start searching, then you'll go on Google search also. So it's very logical. It's not rocket science. I hope I have answered your question, Radhika.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Cool, thanks.
Okay, so I think the last question of the day. Sir, this is asked by Mansi. Is it really worth spending lakhs of rupees over a course like Google marketing or SEO or email marketing, or it's the pragmatic experience with the same that do affect?
So you're already doing MBA, right? You're doing masters business administration, or is it what course are you guys doing right now?
The
So-
Bachelor's of Management Studies.
And so financial studies as well, management studies and financial studies.
You're already doing management studies, right? So you're understanding the management aspects of running a business. I think what you should be doing is look at some of the highly acknowledged, accepted, free courses which are valued in the industry. Google AdWords, Google Analytics. There's a lot of these are valued a lot in the industry, right? And they're free of cost, completely free of cost. If you are Google AdWords certified, you're Google Shopping. How do you run Google Shopping ads? How do you run Google display ads? How do you analyze content? Google Analytics. These are all free of cost. They don't charge you any money. And if you spend 20, 25, 30 hours on each one of these, you'll be able to make sense of it. I don't think you need to spend a lot. You have to be just wise and pick up these aspects.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for such perceptive information. I must say the way you de-jargoned the various concepts and terms was really helpful. This session was so engaging and has definitely been an immense value addition to our knowledge set. I'm sure that each one of us present here would walk out with a better understanding of artificial intelligence and digital marketing and their linkages. Now, I, Manaswini Avasthi, would like to present Sir with a letter of gratitude. Sir, we really appreciate you for sparing your precious time to share your knowledge and experience with us. We are extremely grateful and elated, and I hope you all got a lot to learn today. Now, to give you a brief glimpse of the interesting activities conducted by our department, we would now be presenting a video before you.
Once again, thank you so much, sir, for delivering such an informative session. We really enjoyed. I request all the panelists to kindly turn on their videos so that we can take a group picture with sir.
Thank you so much, Manu sir, for joining in, and we look forward to have you in college as well. Very
Yeah,
informative
when I was seeing that video, I think I was just thinking all of you must also be missing being in campus, right, as much in these times. But yeah, thank you so much for having me here. I just had a fantastic time with all of you.
Thank you, sir. It was an honor for us. The screenshots are taken.
Okay. Let's move
Cool,
on.
thank
to
you.
the
Have a good rest of the day, everyone. See you around. Bye bye.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Same.
Let's move on to the topic for today's session. Now, we would be getting to know a lot about the topic how to build a startup atmosphere for educational institutions. It is a link curriculum to real world business challenges. It invites business executives to deliver lectures, provides consulting services to small businesses and nonprofits. It helps students launch their own businesses. AI fosters global exchange programs with other institutions, and it also encourages student in residence programs. It is my honor to introduce among us Mr. Ravi Ranjan. Sir is the project lead at Shark Tank India, a show which presented the idea of entrepreneurship in such a way that every Indian household is now discussing equity and unicorns. Sir is also a renowned entrepreneurship evangelist, startup expert, 2 times TEDx speaker, and an alumni of the International Visitor Leadership Program. Mr. Ranjan has over 10 years of experience helping startups, entrepreneurs, and government across India to solve problems using entrepreneurship, technology, and innovation. We are truly gratified to have such an eminent speaker gracing the occasion today. I humbly invite Sir to address the gathering now.
Thanks a lot, Manaswani. I really appreciate that. It is indeed a pleasure for me to meet all of you. Not many years ago, I was in a college sitting clueless on what to be done. I'm sure you guys are not as clueless as I was. I'll tell you a quick story to all the students. First of all, I'm very glad that all of you are here and trying to learn new things. So, I come from a very small village in Jharkhand. My village was, when I was growing up, it was the highest Naxal affected area in the country. So every other week, we used to listen about one bomb explosion or somebody being kidnapped, somebody being murdered, and nothing is happening, right? I remember I spent most of my childhood till class 10th without electricity. Now, today it's very difficult to imagine that you grow up in such a scenario and you find solutions for them. But I would say I was always curious. Even when I was in this small town, obviously there was no internet, no access to technology, no access to mentors, no access to experts. But I always had this thought that I want to do something different, unique, which can not only solve problems for myself but also for people around me. That inspired me to always, try and do something extraordinary. For the first many years when I was in school, again, because I was in this small place, there was no good school. I went to a government school. There was no infrastructure in my school. I remember, that in our time it was very difficult. So why I'm telling you guys these stories is because today we're going to talk about how a college campus can empower entrepreneurship and support students' ideas and dreams to make it a reality. Fast forward, today I have a fair amount of experience working with the startups in the country, and I personally believe that entrepreneurship has helped me as a person to achieve success. And if you look at the examples across the world, it's only when entrepreneurship is used in mainstream, the country grows. I'll tell you some stories. look at Silicon Valley in the US, one of the most advanced ecosystem. Because of entrepreneurship, they are successful. London in the UK, successful because of entrepreneurship. Dubai in Middle East, successful because of entrepreneurship. Bengaluru, Delhi, NCR now successful because of entrepreneurship. So that's one part of the story where a lot of great things are happening. But before we get into that, let me share the reality on the ground. I'm assuming all of you guys, most of you are from Delhi NCR region. This is the Delhi University College, right? Okay. I'm assuming most of you are from Central India or Delhi NCR, but a lot of people who are from East India or even from some remote areas in the country would be able to relate to what I'm going to share with you. So this is basically a newspaper article from Times of India, and when you, on one side we think about so many great things, but this is the real reality of India. Can you guys see my screen? Can you see the picture? Oh, this is the other picture. Hold on a second. Let me get the right one. All right. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. This is a newspaper article. This is about a job vacancy. This vacancy was issued by government of Uttar Pradesh. This was primarily a position for a peon messenger. The job requires the person to act like a postman, and he would be responsible to deliver telecom department's messages from one police station to another police station. Now, typically for such a job, the requirement is a self-declaration that the applicant knows how to ride bicycle. But for this position, UP Police received 3.7 thousand PhD holders, 54,000 graduates, 28,000 postgraduates, and MBAs. While the starting salary for this opportunity is 20,000 rupees, and I'm not saying that it's a bad job or it's not a good job or it's a menial job. What I'm trying to say is that if you spend so much time on going through school, college, masters, PhD, and you apply for this job, there's something wrong, right? Something is not fitting in, something is not correct. What is that one part which is missing here, and why even today more than 90% of India and Indian students are not equipped with the skills which can make them successful? That's a question we need to ask when we talk about how college campuses can contribute towards making students' life better. We need to understand that we live in the world of very fast moving technology change where things are moving every single day. I used to work with an organization called NASSCOM. NASSCOM is a not-for-profit, non-government organization. It's one of the largest trade body in the world which promote IT and ITES. Every year, NASSCOM publishes a data which talks about employability. You guys would be surprised to know that in year 2018 and 19, more than 75% engineers were unemployable from India. That's a really big number, right? Interestingly, the number has increased in the year 2020-2021. On one side, we have engineering college mushrooming. So if you look at Noida, Greater Noida, you will forget how many colleges are there. And that's only Noida I'm talking about. You go to South India, you go to UP, you go to Bihar, Jharkhand. It's just endless. So on one side, the biggest challenge is that the academia today is not ready to understand and comprehend what industry is looking for. Some of you, bright students, would get an opportunity to get a nice job right after your college or go for further studies, and you will be able to achieve great success. But again, is that a great success? I'm going to talk about that as well. That I'll come to later. The second point is that when we talk about academia playing an important role, academia is not updating their curriculum. We are still studying curriculum which was designed in 70s by people who graduated in 80s, which was updated last in 90s. And we are in 2022. So everything has changed 15 years ago, and we are still studying things which were relevant maybe 15, 20 years ago. So that's the first disconnect, the curriculum. Number two, faculty training. Teachers who spend a lot of time every day teaching at the colleges, They are not getting trained. Very few faculties in the country understand the importance of entrepreneurship, startups, and innovation. And number three, the challenge is that even today, most of the Indian parents and the society expect a student to finish the program and get a job. Now, one of the sad realities is that India was always a country of entrepreneurship. It's only that in the last 300 years that we have started, in a way, pushing and appreciating jobs so much. Look at the Indian history. It always has been a country which promoted entrepreneurship and supported entrepreneurship. Today, if you go to, I'm sure you guys can relate to this, you go to a wedding or you go to a family function, the first thing your relatives are going to ask, all right, I see you guys are studying at DU. Have you got a placement offer? Are you doing a job? They are not going to ask you, what are you studying? What are your views on world politics? What do you think about the Syria conflict? What do you think the policies need to change so that the person at the bottom of the pyramid can get advantage from government policies? They don't understand these things and they don't ask you those questions. Now that is a challenge. Unfortunately, that challenge need lot more push to be solved, but that is the challenge. Okay, now let me come to the second point. And why I'm going to show you guys what I'm showing you today, because I know that you guys are very smart and most of you would be, kind of in a way going to top your class and you feel that you are going to be a successful person. But I'm going to break that today. In a college, when you top your class, what are you called? You're called a valedictorian, gold medalist. Now, 99% people in the world will feel that if you're the topper of your class, you have achieved everything in the life. But that is not true. I'm going to show you why I'm saying this. And then I come to the next point. Okay. How many of you would agree to this? The more rules you follow, the more respect you get in an academia setup. Your teachers love you, your parents love you, your classmates, they are jealous, but they also love you on your face, right? But in reality, tell me, colleges do not teach us how to do taxes. They never teach us how to plan for future in terms of financial. They never teach us about stock market, capital market, derivatives, commodities. That is where rich people are. That is how you can become rich. But nobody is going to teach you that. If you ask that question to any of your faculty or even your parents, they are going to say that you don't need to learn about this. But the day you finish your college and get into the office, that's what you need to do. That is what is expected out of you. But you have no clue how to do it. Nobody teaches you in your college how to write a professional email. Nobody teaches you how to prepare for. I'll tell you one thing. I always thought in my life, so I have achieved successes here and there. I always thought that if you understand a particular subject and if you're good at it and if you know communication, you'll be successful. So one of the things is that in your life, your success depends on 70 to 75% on how you communicate and 20 to 25% of what are you communicating. But unfortunately, we focus 75 to 80% on what are we communicating and 20% on how are we communicating. That's one part. But then I realized something else, which I'm going to share with you guys. One of the biggest things which you need to learn in your life. If you want to be a leader, if you want to be a normal person where you get a job which pays you a good salary, you buy a car, you get married, you have a nice family, you are all set. You're already at a place where you're going to achieve all of that. But I'm assuming that you guys don't want to settle there. You want to be a leader who can set example and solve problems. In order to become a leader, there's one skill which all of you need to learn. It's called diplomacy. It's called as how to navigate bureaucracy. Trust me, every single organization where you're going to work, a private company, a government organization, your own startup, your family business, you need to know how to manage bureaucracy and you need to know how to be a diplomatic person. That is when you become a leader. Look at all the top leaders in the world. Barack Obama, Mahatma Gandhi, Narendra Modi. Everyone was a diplomat and they knew how to manage bureaucracy and bureaucrats. Now, that might be relevant more for a person who's in politics, but even in the office setup, there's so much challenge. Most of the time you listen, if you talk to your seniors, they'll tell you that, I spent so much time doing this project, but my senior presented the idea and he got the recognition. I did not. How do you outshine in an organization where there are 1 lakh people working? Your identity is employee number 90,995. How do you become that one person who's going to get the spotlight? Now, I'm going to talk about a very crucial point. While we talk about entrepreneurship, not everyone can become an entrepreneur and not everyone should become an entrepreneur. Working with a company, private, government, doesn't matter. It's very important and it's a matter of pride that you can join an organization and the organization believe in you so much. But how do you become successful? How do you become a leader? If you look at the biggest companies in the world, there is a way through which you can become more successful and you can get more visibility. It's called intrapreneurship. Satya Nadella, Microsoft, Sundar Pichai, Alphabet. So many companies, right from Adobe to MasterCard to Facebook, everyone has a person who's leading the company today, but they are not the founders of these companies. They did not start these companies. They are not the owners of the company. They are still the CEO and they are running those companies. Why? Because they acted like an entrepreneur within a large organization. When you do that, you are known as an intrapreneur. So tomorrow when you go and join an organization, take risk, demonstrate leadership. That is when you are going to climb up the ladder very, very fast. I would expect all of you to become an entrepreneur, but that's not practical. If you do that, I'll be the happiest person. But even if you go and work in a company, it's all right. Act like an entrepreneur. Okay, let's move to the next segment of the talk. Today, we are missing a very large opportunity as a nation, and colleges have a responsibility to solve this. Currently, India is part of a phenomena called the demographic dividend. All right? Now, if you look at the demographic dividend chart, Japan had demographic dividend from 1964 to 2004, and we all know where Japan is today, right? Similarly, India currently is in the demographic dividend phase from 2018 to 2055, where the India's dependency ratio is less than 50%, which means that more than 50% population is earning. They are in an age bracket where we can go out and solve a lot of problems for our country, for our society, and for the world at large. But are we doing that? Unfortunately, no. We are focused, the youth is focused on how can I get that one dream job so that my life can change. And then the colleges are focused on how can I place my students so that I can advertise that we have a 100% placement record. At the end of the day, the nation is losing, right? And that's the challenge. What's happening today. Now let me go ahead and walk you guys through my few points and then we'll have a more interactive session. I have been just speaking so far. Let me first introduce why I'm here and why I deserve to be here so that we are all on the same page. My name is Ravi Ranjan. I call myself an entrepreneurship evangelist. It's a very strong word. An evangelist is a person who believes in an idea so much that he or she devote their entire life. I believe that only entrepreneurship has the capability to change the world. It has been proven for the past thousands of years and it's going to be true for the next many, many thousand years. I'm an expert in startups. I've been advising various governments in India and outside on entrepreneurship. I'm an expert in open innovation, policy advocacy. From the time when I could not speak even a word of English in college, today I'm a public speaker. I have spoken to, I don't know, thousands of events. I'll talk about that later. I was recently the head of Shark Tank India project on behalf of Venture Catalyst, where I designed the entire program end to end and helped Sony launch this program. I was earlier leading a very powerful startup initiative called NASCOM 10,000 Startup. Before that, I have worked with various companies such as Indian Angel Network, ICC, etc. Again, coming back to the story, when I was growing up in my village, where most of my friends today, they are either in politics or they are either doing things which I cannot mention on this event. I was invited by the government of US in 2016 to visit United States. Why was this special? Because this program has invited people such as Atal Bihari Vajpayee, Indira Gandhi and many more when they were young and they were contributing something to grow the nation. So every year around 20 to 30 people get invited. I went to the US, met a lot of people, learned from them, contributed to them. And then in the last years, where I have worked with a lot of companies, I had an opportunity to work with companies such as Facebook, Google, Amazon in the field of entrepreneurship. I have trained 1,70,000, which is now 1,85,000 students in the last 5-6 years and 7,000 plus faculties. I have a total of 12 years experience. Now that is why I'm here to talk to all of you guys. And it is again my privilege to share with you guys some of the points which I believe is very, very crucial to help you as a student, as an individual to achieve success, and also how we can change the ecosystem on the ground level. Now let me talk about why entrepreneurship is important today. For the last 2 years, the world has been going through a very difficult scenario. The world has been into lockdown and there has been a lot of financial losses. Unfortunately, while governments across the world have failed, especially in the country, where the petroleum prices have breached the 100 mark, the inflation has been just going through the roof and nothing is happening. People are losing jobs. There have been no new vacancies for past many years. That's one side of the bad part. But look at the good part. In the last 2 years, India has become the most powerful country, one of the most powerful countries in the world in terms of entrepreneurship. What is happening here? This is the golden age of entrepreneurship by Indian and the Indian diaspora. There are a total of 100 unicorns in India. A unicorn is a private company which is valued at $1 billion or above. And in Silicon Valley, there are 67 unicorns which are started by Indian origin founders. In Silicon Valley, 40% talent is Indian. 30% of Fortune 500 CEOs are Indian. India has 100,000 startups today. And interestingly, in 2021, when the entire world was grappling with economic crisis, Indian startups raised $42 billion. That's a 3.5x increase from 2020. And what is so interesting and powerful is that India produced one unicorn every 8th day in 2021. We are currently in month 2 of year 2022. We already have 8 unicorns now. Think about it. 10 years ago, in order to build a unicorn, you need 15 to 20 years. Can you tell me what is the duration which has, there is a startup which became a unicorn last year. It took a very small amount. Do you know the name of the company and how much time it took them to become a unicorn from zero? Anyone?
Sir, is it Digit Insurance?
No. Digit became a unicorn, but not the shortest one. Any more guesses? Obviously, I wouldn't expect you to do, because that's like, if you're very actively following startup ecosystem, then you would know. So there's a company, I'm going to show you that company very quickly. Hold on a second here. Now that company became a unicorn in 6 months. So from 0 to 7,500 crore, this company became a unicorn in last year, which, they started during the lockdown, they became a unicorn during the lockdown, everything is online. Now let me show you what they do, okay? Okay. Now this is how the ecosystem is changing, and if the colleges do not change at this pace, it's going to be very challenging. This is a company called Mansa, which became a unicorn in 6 months. This is the company which acquire various brands who are working online on Amazon. They buy these companies and then they understand the brand, they do evaluation and commercial, they do the due diligence and close the deal, and they accelerate the brand. All of that happens very, very fast. This gentleman, Mr. Anant Narayan, he was the ex-CEO of Myntra, co-founder of Medlife, worked with McKinsey. He realized that this is a great opportunity where they became so powerful in just very, very short span of time. So you need to understand that in a world where a company is becoming a unicorn in 6 months, what are you doing as a student? And the colleges need to realize that what are we teaching to our students? Think about it as an individual. All of us have financial aspirations and all of us have a responsibility as well to contribute financially to our families, the current family and the future family which we will have, and then we have to contribute to our society financially. Then we have to contribute to our nation, and then we have to contribute to our planet, and then we have to contribute, say, because you're going to get only one chance. Once you're dead, then dead. There's no retake, you're not going to come back, and you can say, oh, okay, I missed this one, maybe next year I'll become a billionaire and solve world hunger, or next life I'll come and solve the planet issues. No, you have just one life. You guys are very fortunate because all of you are below 30, I'm expecting, because you're in college. You have at least 40 years from here to do something. Now you have three options. Number one, you follow the way you're following right now. You finish your college, go for higher studies, or get a job and start earning, which will give you good money. You can, start saving, start spending more on Nika, start spending, more money on buying that, sports car which you all love, or maybe start investing in buying a new house. But think about it. No matter how much you earn in one lifetime in a corporate environment, you would not have enough money to solve large problems. But at the same time, think about it. The second way, you are in your college. I'm assuming none of you have a personal loan. None of you have a house loan. None of you are married. None of you are responsible to support your family financially. If you start something today, you have more chances of taking risk, taking failure, learning from that, and then able to do something great. So why are you not doing it? What is stopping you? You guys spend so much time on doing projects, doing case studies, doing debate, which is not going to add any value, but anyways. Rather, if you focus on building a startup. Now think about it. Let me tell you a very interesting example. Okay, I'm just going to pinpoint some of you, so don't mind. I look at Manaswani here. She's like really looking sharp, got ready in the morning for the event. Now imagine, Manaswani, you have 6 days a week where you need to go to office. And I'm just giving you a very practical example. This is a very powerful company. It has become a unicorn. Every day you want to use a new shade of lipstick because you want to match with your outfit. You have two options. One is that you go and buy all the shades from MAC or Bobby Brown or whichever brand you can afford at this age. Or you can pay me only once a month, 1,500 rupees. I'm going to send you a box which consists 7 different shades of lipstick, 3 different shades of, nail paint, and something else. This is a startup called Birchbox. Let me show you this. And I'm telling you this story. Why? I'll explain to you very, very soon. Let me first show you the company. Alright, so this is a monthly beauty and cosmetic subscription. It's called Birchbox. The company started in Europe and it has become one of the biggest company in the world today. It's just opening up. This is called Murphy's Law. When you want something to happen, it doesn't happen. Anyways, so you have Birchbox subscription. What you do is that you go and subscribe here and you get a box every month, which is unique. Now, every box which comes to your doorstep has a new variety of newly launched brands or maybe old brands, so that you don't have to spend a lot of money buying you individual items again and again. So you spend $15, you get a box. You pay $13 a month, you get a 12-month plan where you get one box every week. In the box, you get this. So you have a hair tri kit, you have a hair another kit, you have the skincare repair kit. And what is so powerful is that based on your requirement, you can get the kind of products which you need. In your college, I'm sure a lot of you would come across problems every day. I mean, cosmetic is just one part. You look around yourself. There are so many problems. Healthcare has problem. Education has problem. Sanitation has problem. Clean drinking water access has problem. These are society problems. Then you have problems in terms of price discovery. Today, even in 2022, if you move to a new city and you want to not buy a house, if you want to rent a house, it's a task. Even with all the websites, there's no platform which is reliable for a young female to get a house which is affordable, good quality in a safe environment. It's not available. How about, Manaswini, you build a company where any girl takes subscription of your platform and you guarantee that for the next 1 year, no matter which city you're going to move, you will be able to find an accommodation which is curated for single girls. Now, these are very high quality residential apartments. You take up this apartment, you make it nice, put up a washing machine, have a caretaker, and you pay only one fees. You don't have to pay individually. So imagine a woman who's moving cities here and there, and they need more flexibility. They cannot afford to spend money on hotel. They cannot rent a house because nobody's going to give you a house for 15 days. If you build this today, in next 2 years, you will be able to make it a unicorn. That's one idea. Today, most of the people who come from Bihar, Jharkhand, Uttar Pradesh and other places, they are not comfortable speaking English. That's one reason why they're not successful. Think about it. If you start a simple YouTube channel where you invite one unique teacher every single day to train people how to speak English and you broadcast that. One of my friends did that from Lucknow. He has a channel called Zeta. Today they have 500,000 subscribers and these people learn English just by watching these videos. Do you know how many lives you can change? And you can do that while you're still in college. You don't have to do anything else. By the time you finish your college, there are two things going to happen. Number one, you would be in your placement cell, in the placement room, sitting next to your friends who are coming for an interview. You might be sitting on the next table, hiring from the same batch for your company. If you build a company in first or second year. If not, let's say you built a company and it failed. When you go with your CV and you say that you started a company in your college, it did not work and I'm looking for a job. Trust me, the company is going to hire you first and give you more money because you have already proven that you are a leader. So there's nothing for you to lose. When you build something from your college, you can only achieve and grow. So that's for the student. For the colleges need to realize and they need to understand that they need to support innovation from an early stage. I would not say colleges, but academia. So today, Government of India has launched various initiatives such as ATL, Atal Tinkering Lab at schools, and Atal Innovation Mission Incubators at the college level. So think about it. Students are most curious when they are in class 7, 8 and 9. That's where we need to support them and guide them and channel their energy towards something good. Why have you seen some kids, they are at a very early stage, 12, 13, they start coding, they start becoming ethical hacker and doing great stuff. And then some students, even after they graduate the college, they don't know how to communicate and solve because those students received proper guidance and mentoring. Today, unfortunately, campuses do not have enough manpower which can support students' extracurricular activities. They have one responsibility to finish the curriculum so that in the meeting with their principal, the teachers can say that, oh, I finished the curriculum, my job is done. The student know that he has learned enough to get good grades so he or she can move to the next class. And the same thing follows in college and the same thing follows again and again. But nobody has time to listen to you that, okay, you want to start something in your school? Okay, I'm going to guide you. Why don't we try this? Oh, you want to start something in college? I'm going to guide you. Why not? Unfortunately, the academia is currently not equipped with the mindset, number one, infrastructure, number two, and intent, number three, to support young students to become entrepreneur. Because if you truly become an entrepreneur right from your college, you are going to have more headroom to compete with players outside in the real world. So that is the second part of the conversation on how colleges and academia can support entrepreneurship. Now, I'm going to show you guys one quick example of how companies today, startups primarily, are using technology to make the world a better place. We all know about so many companies who are trying to do something great, but you need to understand that today in our country, there are still places where the nearest hospital is at least 80 to 100 kilometers away. People die because they cannot reach to the hospital on time. There are still places where there is no school in India today. There are still places where people, in my district where I am right now, in Palamu, it's in Jharkhand, there was a news in 2020, during the lockdown, many people, they were not able to get the ration because they are dependent on that, and so many people died because they could not get food. Can you imagine that you are dying because nobody is giving you food? But that's the reality even today. Can you build something around that? Have you given a thought? Okay, let me show you this company. This company realized that saving people's life in critical time is very, very important. And that is where they figured out that they can solve this very large problem. Okay, I'm going to show you this video once again very quickly. Hold on a second. Okay. Let me check the video settings. Okay.
Meet the company that's beating Amazon to drone deliveries. Zipline has already logged over 186,000 miles and completed more than 4,000 deliveries since 2016. The company has focused on delivering blood and life-saving medical products to hard-to-reach areas in Rwanda, but will soon expand to other developing nations and even the US.
The service that Zipline provides allows any doctor or nurse anywhere in the country to basically send a text message and get the product that they need 15 to 30 minutes later.
Like traditional logistics companies, Zipline is paid per delivery. Its drone system is 4 times faster than the average quadcopter and can serve an area 200 times as large. 1/3 of the deliveries in Rwanda were for life-critical situations.
If a patient shows up at one of the hospitals and happens to need a transfusion of that blood type, Zipline actually can deliver that specific product from our distribution center to the hospital so quickly that the patient actually doesn't know the product wasn't stocked at the hospital to begin with.
Here's how it works.
When that text message is received at the distribution center, we will immediately take that product out of our central store, load it into a box, and then that box gets placed into one of our Zips, which is one of these autonomous aircraft.
Once loaded, the drone is catapulted into the air on a launcher using military-grade GPS. The drones navigate to the healthcare centers that Zipline serves and drop their package from the air on a paper parachute before returning to the distribution centers.
We're actually using an active recovery system that takes inspiration from an aircraft carrier. We're actually tracking the plane with about centimeter level accuracy, and we can pluck the plane out of the air and then basically swing it down so that our flight operators can immediately grab it, load a new package, and launch it again.
Zipline will start making deliveries in the US this year as part of an FAA pilot program. The company says that it has already partnered with a number of healthcare systems, states, cities, and research institutions in the US.
Learning from Rwanda's example, the U.S. is now moving really quickly to show how this kind of technology can save lives and be commercialized here in this country. And what's exciting is that Zipline's second-generation aircraft and second-generation distribution center are coming online in the next month. And they're going to make it possible for us to go from serving a small country like Rwanda at limited scale to a much larger country like the US at a scale of hundreds of millions of people.
Now, that is example of a wonderful, wonderful use of technology or drone to save lives and to actually make a difference, right? So I'm going to stop here with one concluding remarks is that Shark Tank, right? It has been very interesting. We thought that it's going to take 2 to 3 years for the nation to start accepting it, but very surprisingly, it has already become so popular, right? When I was working on this project, when I started doing the early research in 2020, May and June, my biggest task was that for a very long time, I could not explain to people because I was under NDA that I'm doing a show like this. So I had to just, say something and just try and collect data point. But what is so interesting is that today, this show has given an opportunity to so many millions of people in India to realize that I can also do this, right? Unfortunately, our country has been obsessed with some really vulgar shows. It's all dance and music and drama.
I think there is some network issue at Sir's end.
Hi guys, can you see me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yes.
I don't know how my laptop died, but yeah, I was saying that unfortunately, we have seen some really bad examples of what talent looks like. Unfortunately, I don't watch TV. It has been many years that I have watched TV. One of the reasons is that the shows were really bad. So when I got this opportunity, I said yes, I would like to bring change to the Indian television, and whatever role I can play, I would be happy to do it. Now it has been so interesting that now there are conversations in the bedrooms and houses, and old and young people, they're all saying that, oh, I can do this as well. So I'm very hopeful that in years to come, we would appreciate people more who are building ventures to solve problems. And our relatives are also going to ask us that, oh, have you not built a startup? Have you not raised capital? Instead of asking us, when are you getting married, or when are you getting a job? So guys and girls, girls, there are no guys except me. So it has been a privilege for me to speak to all of you. I would just like to say that if you dream, you can achieve whatever you want in life. I have not achieved all the success which I want to. I'm still working there. It's going to take a few more years. But think about a young boy who had so many dreams, but no one to support him. Could not speak English, could not get access to technology, never had a good fancy college to go to. From there, solving so many problems and to be able to contribute to the society. If I can do all of that, you guys are at least 10,000 times smarter than me. So I expect nothing best and better than the best from all of you. That would be my concluding remarks. Once again, thank you so much for inviting me. It has been a true honor for me. Happy to take any questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for such an informative technical session. We indeed could gather a lot of valuable takeaways from the session. We would now open the forum for questions. Students can post their queries in the chat box to get them clarified.
I'm available on LinkedIn. My handle is Ravi Ranjan. Feel free to reach out to me if you guys ever plan to build a startup, or if you want to just share any thought, I'm happy to do it. My responses will be late because I have like 40,000 people messaging me. But yes, I'll try my best to get back to you. Very happy to see that you guys are actually doing such sessions, even when colleges are not open. I can just relate to the pain you guys have. 2 years, you have not met your friends and not had farewell parties, and all the other stuff which should be done. My cousin sister, she was studying at DU at one of the colleges, journalism. She was studying, and she was really upset that 2 years she had to study online and could not go to thing. But yeah, I think hopefully things will change. Do we have any questions? Not yet. What do you guys study? Brinda, you have a question? Brinda, you have raised your hand. Do you have a question?
Sir,
Happened accidentally?
Sir, one thing that I would like to say is that it was really inspiring, like to know your journey, to hear it from you. And it just, I think, in times like these, it's often we feel anxious and depressed about what the future holds. And to listen and, such inspiring words from you has really boosted our morale. So I would really like to thank you.
No, I'm glad that I was able to contribute.
Also, sir, we all are studying Bachelor's of Management Studies and Financial Studies.
Very nice. Management and financial studies. Okay, great. I would encourage all of you to spend more time on three things. Number one, how blockchain is going to impact finances. That's already happening. 10 years down the line, you will see hardly any banks. All the banks will be shut. It will be all online banking. It will be decentralized banking. Number two is that you should learn about how to value a startup. It's called valuation, which is primarily a CA, they do it. But if you know how to do valuation of a startup, you can make a lot of money. Number three is that when we talk about management, today most of the companies have a very simple and open policy where they expect their employees and their team members to work in a decentralized setup. And now more and more companies are saying that we are going to work virtually online. So you need to learn new practices of management, because what you're studying right now, I think that's already changing. By the time you finish your college, it would have been changed already. So keep an eye open, spend some time on tracking the trends in the industry. And yeah, I think you guys will be good to go.
So there is a question by Yashika. She is asking how to find the perfect team who shares the same values.
Absolutely. Very good question, Yashika. That's one of the most important elements when you build a startup. See, ideas are diamond dozen. Everyone has an idea. I have so many ideas I can share with you, but it's the team which can execute this. In order to find the best team, you need to find people who share the same passion. They might not be as smart as you are, or they might be less smart than you are. They might be more smart than you are, but if they have the same passion, they are the best team member. But how do you find such people? Because you are in college, you are at the best place. You would know that out of my 100 classmates, there are two people who are really passionate about doing something unique, and you connect with them. You can propose this idea that we should do it together. I think college is the best place to find your future teammates or future co-founders for your companies which you're building. Once you graduate from your college, then you need to look into your network, which can be a network from your school, which can be a network from your college. People, now you guys are so fortunate, all of us are so fortunate that we have social media where we can track every day what is happening with our friends and our people who we know, how are they progressing in life. For example, most of the work which is done in the startup ecosystem is done on referral model. Everyone knows everyone, and if I right now, if I go and post in some of the WhatsApp groups that I'm looking for a person, do this, I'm gonna get like 100 CVs. Or if I say that, oh, listen, I need help. Can someone help me? 5 people will call me and they'll explain to me. And it's all free. Pro bono, nobody is expecting any return, because it's the community feel which drives people. So to answer your question, college is the best place for you to look at people. Look at people who share the same passion as you. The second thing which is very crucial is that if you are a person who's an expert in management or sales, try and get your co-founder who's good in technology, or try and get someone who's bringing another skill on the table so that you can complement each other's skill. That's what you need to look in a great team. So, if you look at Avengers, on one side we have Thor, and then on the other side we have Hulk, and then we have Iron Man. They all have different qualities, some perfect, some not so perfect, but together they make a great team. That's how you also need to find your team, where people have different skills, but the same passion, the same drive, which can help you go ahead again and again and again every single day.
So there is another question by Rishpa. She's asking, many a times one doesn't know where to start from building a startup. So how can a beginner go about building a startup?
I already said, I mean, trust me, there are so many problems to be solved and there are very few people. Just look around you. Look at one problem statement which relates to you very personally. For example, there's one company which I have been mentoring for a very long time. It's called Altor. These students met in college, and one night, one of their friend, he had a bike accident and he died. For 1.5 hours, his body was just lying there. Nobody was able to help him because nobody knew that he's there. And that inspired them to build a company. They built India's, actually world's first smart helmet, which has a accident detection technology. It's a patented technology through which you can know that the person has fallen down or something. They kept on working where everyone was saying that it's not possible, you cannot do it, it's incorrect. They kept on working hard. Just 2 weeks ago, they went on Shark Tank and they became one of the most popular show. I have been helping them from a really long time. So as a young person, you need to find a problem which you can relate to and a problem which can actually impact people. This can be in any way. So when I say impact, you should not think about building an NGO or building a social enterprise. You should think about a company which can impact a lot of people. For example, today, I would say that the biggest social companies in the world are Uber, Ola, Swiggy, and Zomato because they employ millions of people. Think about all the jobs which came because of Swiggy. And imagine in 2020 and 2021, when the world was down, everything was closed. These companies provided job opportunities to so many people because they were able to deliver food and other essentials. And you don't need to be qualified, you don't need to have degree, you can just start working. So you are doing more impact than any other NGO can. So think about how to build a venture which can bring impact at various levels. So that's how you start your idea.
I guess that was all with the questions, sir.
Wonderful.
It has been an absolutely insightful session, sir. I'm certain that each one of us here will definitely have a fresh perspective towards startups after this session. On behalf of the Department of Management Studies and the Department of Financial Studies, I, Akanksha Mehta, would now like to present Sir with a letter of gratitude. I extend my sincerest gratitude to Sir for sparing your precious time to address the annual Technical Fest IDAIRA. The words of wisdom have surely made a lasting impact on our knowledge set. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much, sir, for sparing your time for our session. It was really wonderful session. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for the session. IDAIRA received an extremely positive response this year. The 4 competitions organized under IDAIRA with enthusiastic participation from students were no doubt the highlight of IDAIRA. They were Case Niti, Bidding Baddies, Adept Allocator, and Escape Prism. And now, the D-Day. We have the results for the competitions. But before going any further, I would like to congratulate each and every participant who put up so many efforts in the competition and made the competitions all the more thrilling. For the first competition Case Niti, the winner is Team Dynamite, the first runner-up is Team Aces. A very huge congratulations from our side to the winners, runners-up, and the participants.
Aditi, can you please tell from which college they are? Are they from our college only?
No, ma'am, they are not from our college.
Okay.
Okay. For the next competition, Escape Prism, the winner is Mehak Mahajan, and the first runner-up is Anshul Chauhan. A very huge congratulations to the winners. For the next competition, Bidding Baddies, the winner is Team Square Offs, and the first runner-up is Team Free Range Chicken. I extend a warm congratulations to the winners. For Adept Allocator,
Prize money has been announced with them. Is it, Aditi? You have already announced prize money to them?
Yes, ma'am. We have announced the prize money, like both the cash prize and kind. But like we are announcing the results here for the first time. Like most of the participants have even joined us here.
Yeah, so I would like you announce the prize money in terms of cash and in terms of kind, if you can.
Okay, ma'am, sure.
Yeah.
Aditi, you can move ahead with the winners.
Sure. For Adept Allocator, the winner is the Elites, and the first runner-up is DefineX. I congratulate the teams. For Cluminati, the winner is Riddhi Sharda. The second position goes to Subhashri, and the third position goes to Anchal. I congratulate the winners.
Congratulations to all winners. And thank you everyone for joining in. Thanks to all students and faculty members. And thank you council members as well for such a great fest again.
It is an absolute honor for us to have such distinguished speakers with us today. We extend a warm thanks to Mr. Manu Malhotra and Mr. Ravi Ranjan for gracing the occasion and enlightening us with their words of wisdom. I would like to extend my sincerest gratitude to Principal Dr. Payal Mago for giving us this opportunity and being our guiding light. We would like to extend all we would like to we would like to thank all the teachers who joined today's session. Finally, I would also like to thank our department's beloved teachers for their constant and wise guidance, which made this event a success, and the team behind the event, without whom we would not have been able to conduct today's session. We are extremely grateful for your support. Lastly, I sincerely thank all the attendees who have joined us today. We really appreciate your active participation. Before we end, I request all the attendees to kindly switch on their videos for a group photograph.
Thank you. Congratulations to all the winners. Congratulations to all the council members who organized this event successfully. And the credit goes to the council member and the volunteers. And you have done a great job, girls, as always.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Can you please stop sharing the PPT and we can take a group photograph?
Yes, many congratulations to everyone out there who have put in a lot of efforts to make the IIDAIRA'22 a great success.
Thank you, teachers. I once again request.
Congratulations to all of you.
Thank you, teachers. I request all the panelists once again to kindly switch on their videos so that we can take a group photograph.
It's done, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us.